and victims have reported that their Cash App will show Ross payment as pending, but will ultimately not be deposited into their account. Um, Now I reached out to Ross. And the B team investigate reached out to Ross to get her side of the story and just kind of asked her, what exactly is going on. So, like, for y'all that just tuned in, I'm gonna go over the story again. A Byron PD woman the police department is warning of a woman running a scam through Facebook Marketplace. Now, this story actually just happened like a week ago. So, if you are putting products on Facebook Marketplace, please be aware of this woman. She is apparently, they're saying, the police department is saying that this woman has the profile name of Latiffany Ross, and she's purchasing Apple iPads over Facebook Marketplace. And she's arranging to meet these iPad owners at a place called Freshway Market on Highway 49. And some of the victims have even told me that what she's doing is she's using Cash App as the payment is pending, but it will not be deposited. So just last week, we had my kids here and we were talking about how they do their pop-up shops and how people would take advantage of them being kid vendors. And they'll show them, like, oh look, my Cash App, your deposit, your money is pending, and then they'll walk off and my kids don't get the money. So that's kind of what she's doing. So if you see, or you have a payment, or you have a someone from Facebook Marketplace named Latiffany Ross wants to buy an iPad or an electronic from you, please, please be aware. And also, whether it's anybody, because people are changing their names on social media, these scammers, they're changing their names a lot. It's an unlimited amount of email addresses you can use. So if someone is wanting to buy from you or saying, hey, let's meet up at this place, one, I would say, call the police. Let them know, like, hey, this person wants to buy an expensive item from me. Can you sit by to make sure the transaction goes well? This is something that I have done myself when I had got my cat. She rest in peace. um I went on Craigslist, and they had a cat, and I was like, oh, I really want that kitty. And I called the police because they're like, oh, we're in the cul-de-sac, and I don't trust nothing with a dead end. So I'm like, hey, I'm about to do a transaction, can you sit at the racetrack on the corner, till you see my car come back out? So they had no idea that the police was on the corner waiting. And once that happened, I drove back out, and he flashed his lights and drove off, because these people are scamming out here. And it's unfortunately that you have to do stuff like that, but this is what's happening. So if you see, or someone named Latiffany Ross reach out to you on Facebook Marketplace and say, hey, I want to buy that Apple Watch from you, let's meet up here, I would say don't do it. Also, I would say, if you do decide to do it, or you take any Cash App payments from anyone, please make sure that the payment goes through before you hand them the product. One victim told me that they were able to get her license plate number. Now, I'm not gonna put that out there, but they were able to provide it to the police, and they're still looking for this vehicle. So I do want to thank the people that participated in the B Team Investigates, the victims, for reaching out to tell me this story, and let me know, like, what they're doing to try to get this person arrested. So if you see anyone in your inbox on Marketplace, or sometimes we advertise and market on our pages ourselves, like I do my lashes, just be aware when people say, let's meet up here. I could ship it to you. We don't have to meet up anywhere. I have shipping. I could ship it to you. And if we meet up somewhere, we're gonna meet up somewhere that's where I know a police is by. So if you try to scam me, they gonna stop you right in your tracks. So just be careful with that. Because not only apparently is it happening to children, it's also happening to adults. And some of us know better. We know, especially at pop-up shops, to never give the thank you bag, or to any customer, to never give the thank you bag until we see that ching ching, that little cash app sound. That's when we know the money hit, and then we'll give you your bag. So just be careful. Now we have another story. The B team is investigating, honey, and we is busy. So we have another story that has just aired as well. Um this is so funny. The reason why this story is funny to me because my children used to go to this daycare. And when the story hit my inbox, I'm like, no way, like, shut the front door. Because I know this daycare. My kids went to this daycare. They actually closed down and opened up another location. So I'm gonna say one, just please be aware of the places that you put your children in. Some daycares are really, really cheap, and we're like, we'll just stick them in there just to get through the work week, but we need to really investigate, where our children is spending their time at. So let's get into this next B team investigate story. We got Smarter Kids Daycare. According to one of the workers that worked there, this daycare um do not care for the well-being. So let me state where first off, this daycare is in Cobb County, which is Georgia. It says that Smarter Kids does not care for the well-being or safety of your precious children. On Thursday evening, November 4, approximately 7:15 p.m., the owner of the establishment ran her daycare van that she transport your children to and from into the salon, two doors down from her establishment. Now, this could have been a very tragic event and has caused a tremendous amount of trauma and loss of business for the salon. The owner was only concerned that her van was intact so that she could resume picking up your children the following day. Thankfully, the police towed it, but keep in mind that she retrieved it the next evening and parked it back in front of the salon to pick up your children in it, and it has not been serviced. The owner has been asked for 2 years not to park these vans in designated parking spaces because they are for pickup and drop off only, and that they will also not stay for the establishment as they block the slight line. She has no sympathy for what she has done and now has care for the safety of your children or anyone else. So my question was, when this situation happened, is what I was asking the worker, was there children inside the van at this time? So that worker who wanted to remain anonymous, she said no, that the children was not inside the car. She believes that this business owner was actually drinking during the day and fell asleep behind the wheel of the vehicle and drove the daycare van inside of these people establishment. So when we spoke to some of the other workers, because the owner of the hair salon was unavailable, they said that they have subpoenaed her several times to get their money back. She wrote checks to them, like put checks in their mailbox, but the checks, they bounce constantly. And it feels like she keeps scamming them out of their money because it costs thousands of dollars for this salon to be able to get back up and running. And that's a lot of damage. That's a pretty hard hit because when I looked at the pictures, I saw the daycare van actually inside the hair salon. It wasn't even hanging, it was in like a booth. So, just be mindful, like I said, of some of the things that may or may not go on. I say I will just look at reviews. This daycare has had many issues with children. I'm not gonna go into some of the experiences that we had there. Um, but always look at reviews when it comes to stuff like daycare. We care about our children. We want to make sure that they're in the best hands at all times. And people are probably signing up still to this day because they charge 65 a week. So people are probably still signing up to this day um to get their kids there so that they could work, but they're not reading the reviews. The reviews is very important because before this happened there was reviews prior to other parents telling other parents, hey, stay away, and then this tragic happened. Unfortunately, the business owner for the salon had to close down. She was not able to rebuild her business because the checks from the daycare keep bouncing. How? I have no idea if they operating every single day. So she just wanted to spread her awareness to let people know that, hey, this daycare, not only are they scamming people out of their money, but they also do not care about the safety or the concern of your children. And the reason why this story was so important to me was because when my kids went there, it was a lot of issues with my youngest. They were like videotaping her. I said I wouldn't, but I'm just giving a little detail because I've experienced this as well. They were doing things like video recording her behavior. They was making her feel very uncomfortable. It was several children that they would have sleeping on the floor when they was wet on themselves. So and this is just from other parents. So I pulled my kids out of there. So I don't know exactly what's going on there anymore. But I do know that this owner for this salon has started a GoFundMe account because it's the only way for her to be able to get her money back. So I think her name is God, I can't remember her name. It's okay though, but I can remember the name of her GoFundMe. I should have wrote it down, but she do have it on Google. And this story is also on Google as well as in the reviews, so that you guys can look into that. Again, this daycare is called Smarter Kids Daycare on I know it used to be on Windy Hill. It's somewhere else now. But please look into some other daycares, because what if this van was filled with children doing this incident? All right, I'm just saying. The B team also has another story. Now, this one is even closer because how many people have Carvana cars? I know I do. My car is straight off Carvana, got the tag in the front that still say Carvana. Carvana is under fire and the B team has investigated them as well. They also released a statement to us, but you know. um if you're not familiar with Carvana, Carvana is one of the first ever dealerships to where you can do all the paperwork offline, as well as they deliver the vehicles to you. I know when I sold cars, Carvana was a huge problem. When people say if I release my product, I'm gonna be a problem. When Carvana came out, they was a problem for every dealership that was out there. And I know because I had sold cars for 10 years. Carvana was a problem. Okay. When they dropped that vending machine, it was over. Everybody now wants to go to them. Everybody. I mean, I worked at a dealership and I had my car from Carvana delivered there. I mean, I don't know. I be bucking the system, but I did because I was like, I ain't gotta go in there and I gotta sit in there for hours and listen to A salesperson tell me a whole bunch of lies. Like I uploaded all my stuff online, I paid my deposit online, I scheduled a date online, and my car was dropped off that day. So let me just say I love my vehicle from Carvana. Okay. But I don't like what they doing right now. Okay. Carvana customers say they are being scammed because they can't prove that they now own the cars that they brought. What? I don't know. I don't know. I had to investigate that because when someone on Facebook had told me that when someone had told me that off of in my Facebook Messenger, I was like, no, because when I got my car from Carvana, I got a tag and everything. So I had to look into it just a little bit more because it's like something that's not easy to believe. But some Metro Atlanta customers are speaking out against Carvana after they say that the car dealership is putting them at risk of getting pulled over by the police. Customers across the country say they experience the same issues as well. Lawyers in Pennsylvania have filed a class action lawsuit over issues they say all stem from paperwork error. So if you just got a car from Carvana like a year ago and you're still riding around with a paper tag because you're waiting on your pink slips or that proof of ownership, you can actually get in on this class action lawsuit. It don't work for me because I was able to get a tag. And why when stuff like this happens, I can't never get in on a class action lawsuit. Every time there's a class action lawsuit, I'm like, I want to be a part so badly. I like I don't know. They had one for Nissans and where if the tail light wasn't working, it was giving out like $5,000 checks. And I'm like, when they released the years, it was like a 2014. And I'm like, come on, like one more year, up it one more year. Just put a 15 in there so I could get a check. I always missed it. And now here is I got a car from Carvana and I don't qualify for this class action lawsuit either. So one day I'm gonna be a part of something and it's a check coming. But if you got your car from Carvana in the last 2 years and you are not able to show proof of ownership, you can now get in on the class action lawsuit that is going on right now. Um, I spoke to one man who says that he was actually pulled over by the police because he couldn't prove he owned his BMW that he got from Carvana a year ago. They never sent him the title. So he got pulled over, his car got towed. He was able to get it back out, but when he asked Carvana like, "Hey, what's going on with my tag?" They were like, "It's coming, it's in the mail, we backed up." And so he had to pay all those fees. Um, it sounds like to me, Carvana traumatizing people. Cause you're not giving that car buying experience you say. You say you get everything right after each other, but whatever's going on in their home, in their with their team or the paperwork or whatever, people or cars are being told left and right because when you get pulled over, the police ask you for proof of ownership. And we pull out our tags or our registration cards, and these people don't have that because they can't register their cars. Um, so they're, now doing the class action lawsuit. Um, some people say that their cars are even registered in other people's names. Like, because Carvana is not a new car dealership. It's pre-owned. Like my car I got is a Nissan, and my car only had one owner, and it had 5,000 miles on it when I got it. So that's kind of like so they only take cars that's technically like pre-new or like still technically new, if that makes sense. They do got some cars that got like 70,000 miles, but it's still about one owner. But some people are saying that their cars are registered in the old person's name that used to own the car before Carvana took over. And with that being said, they can't even though they have their tag, they can't register it because it's still in someone else's name. So the tax commissioner says it's extremely rare for a driver to not receive a title for a year. A person who buys a car should be able to have a title before the year is over with. And these people are going past the year, past 2 years, and they're kind of being forgot about. And Carvana, they feel like Carvana is pretty much saying, hey, we got our money. The rest is up to you. How you find your title is on your own. How you figure it out is on your own. And that's unfortunate because that's not the experience I had when I got my car. I was able to get my tag, I was able to register it, I was able to get insurance on it, and these people are not able to do that. And I'm sorry, unfortunately, that they have to pay hundreds of dollars to get their cars out of tows, and get lawyers to help them, to have to defend that. And with gas prices being so high and food is so high right now, nobody have time to go and have to get a lawyer, pay a lawyer to for this type of stuff. Imagine if you paid $2,500 deposit for a BMW and you can't even register it, and now you have to pay to get it towed, and now you don't have a vehicle. This man said that he had to ride Uber for 2 weeks, so he was able to get his vehicle back, and that's extra money when there's light bills and stuff. So I'm really hoping that Carvana is able to get it together. He said, the man also said that he wasn't able to not only get a tag, but he can't sell it even if he wanted to, because the vehicle is still in someone else's name. And it's been a nightmare. I'm sure it's been a nightmare for these people. And at this point, if I was them, I wouldn't even want the car no more. That's a lot of money. You know, Imagine, like, my deposit was 900 for my Carvana car. Then the delivery alone was like 100 and something, and then I had to pay for the title, I had to pay for this and that, and then the gas is just gone. I'm not the gas, but you gotta put gas in, of course, but I'm saying, like, you can't sell it. So, I don't know. Carvana, now the B team did reach out to Carvana as a customer. I did tell them that I wanted to get more information as to how they feel, according to how the customers are feeling. And Carvana said that they say we remain firmly committed to continuous improvement and will stay hard at work, making the best car buying and shopping experience available even better. So they did say that they working on it. They did seem sympathetic to the things that the people are going through. They are not reimbursing nobody their money, and you can't return a vehicle. So I thought they had a 7-day grace period. Cause when I got my car, I know I had 7 days to drive it, and if I didn't like it, I could bring it back. But I guess because these people been having their cars for a year or 2, they're not able to return it. So, I just hope things work out for them. There is a class action lawsuit. Um, I'm not saying I'm gonna look into it. I'm not saying I'm gonna submit an application. But I think that those people that are being affected by it, if you need more information, the class action lawsuit is actually starting in Pennsylvania. It's gonna start there, and it's gonna circulate its way around. So that I guess you could go on the internet, you could go on Google and get a part of this lawsuit. They saying that they're looking in the, like, maybe the 500,000s to the millions to give people back their money and compensate them for any proof you have that during this time you didn't have your car for a year or two, that it was very hard for you or traumatized into your well-being or lifestyle to where you couldn't be able to get to work or anything like that. So if you went through a situation like that or you currently is, I suggest you get online, do the research for this lawsuit, because first off, lying is a felony. So you don't want to submit any false documents just because you brought a car from Carvana. I wouldn't do that. I would, if this is something, because people really is affected by it. One lady was like, because she's been paying so much money, for this, she wasn't able to pay her rent. Um, and so when you have a situation like that, then I suggest you get on the class action lawsuit. If not, then let's keep those people in our prayers, because that's pretty hurtful. I would say, because someone asked me like, "You got your car from there? Like, did you have to go through the same experience?" No, it wasn't like that. I've been having my car for 3 years now, and the car buying experience for me were completely different. Because if not, I would definitely be milking it. So I'm excited. Another thing, I have another segment that coming up is the get it off your chest segment. Is not something we can do right now, but I think I talked about that a little bit earlier, where you can get things off your chest and how you feel. And I want to get something off my chest. I don't feel that is right that I can't tell my neighbor how I feel. I always have to voice it on the inside, but I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? For the 4th of July, it really burned me that they were shooting firecrackers and a company was standing on my lawn. And I wanted to go out there and say something to them about it, but I felt like, I didn't want to be on that TV show Fear Thy Neighbor. But I really, really wanted to get that off my chest, that it really had bothered me that they were on my lawn. Not just that, but also I need to get something else off my chest. When my cat passed away, my cat Remy was 5 when she passed away. Rest her soul. May she rest in peace. I felt like the vet could have did more to save her life. I do. I feel like the vet could have done more to save her life, and I feel like they didn't. And I really wanted to get that off my chest, but I just felt like at that moment that it just wasn't appropriate. But they were saying that she was poisoned. And she could have went in the backyard and gotten some fertilizer, and that just caused her to get sick or whatever. And like I felt like the best they could have did was be like, "Oh, we could give her a catheter." But I felt like they could have did more. And I felt like I should have said that. I should have been like, "You could do more to save her." So I just wanted to get that off of my chest, because I've been holding that in for some time. So yes, I do feel like the vet could have did more to save her life besides just offer me a funeral package, that costs more than my car note. So, I am going to take a small break, and we be right back with Build a Brand with Kristen at Hits 92.3 ATL. you, especially if you are a vendor and it says payment is pending. This is one of the reasons why I don't take payments from Cash App. I don't. If I have to, I will, but I prefer not to do payments in Cash App because I'm telling you, you're not gonna get your thank you back until, or you're not gonna get the item or the product until that payment goes through. So just be on the mind look of that. One of the victims were able to actually get her tag, and they released it to the police for further investigation. The other thing that we went over is the Carvana situation. Carvana right now has a pending lawsuit against them, a class action lawsuit for anyone that purchased a car from them in over the last 2 years, and they were not able to receive a tag from them. So please make sure that you go and find out more information about that. The class action lawsuit is happening actually happening in Virginia. Another thing that the B team investigated over the weekend was the daycare situation with Smarter Kids Daycare. Um, not protecting the well-being or the safety of people children. It was reported that over the week that the owner may have been drinking behind the wheel of the daycare van when she drove it into um a salon 2 doors down, and totally destroyed the salon, and the owner says she has been trying to constantly get that daycare owner to pay her the money to fix her shop so she can reopen as she has been out. Her shop has been, closed down since then. Um the owner for the daycare was not arrested during this incident, but she did go and retrieve the daycare van the day after this incident has happened. So the vehicle was never serviced at all. And they're still using it to drive children around inside of it. So that's like, I guess, having an accident and the van being totaled and still, I mean, in a vehicle being totaled or smoking and you're driving it around with your children in it is so unsafe. And this lady have not been able to get any of her money back from the daycare, and they keep giving her checks that's post dated or have bounced. And then the last one that we had went over for the day, I think that was all of them. It was so much going on this weekend. It seems like to me that people are busy. This is what I think. I think when it comes to like scams, I think if people do the investigation the way, the proper way, like looking it up, seeing what's going on, getting more information on it, I don't think there will be so many scams that goes on in the world. You know, when it comes to especially pop-up shops because they worldwide and they world known. It's easy to be scammed. People ask me all the time like, "Hey, do you take do you take payments? Do you take cash payments? Can I pay you when I get there?" I tried that. I tried that I tried doing that, letting people pay when they got to the event. The problem is when they don't show up. Then there's no payment. You're not then you have all these empty slots and nobody's to fill them up. So I no longer do cash payments. Then with the Cash App, people come, they do Cash App, they come to the event, and when the event is over, then they try to request their money back, or they'll email Cash App and tell them that they've been scammed. So now I only do PayPal and Eventbrite because they're the only ones that's trusted to where that if you do business with someone, they'll reach out to you and ask you like, hey, did this person make a sale with you? They'll ask for proof or whatever, in which at that time you provide. Um, I think I think that I feel like, I mean, not say I think, I feel like in a world right now where gas prices is super high and the reason and it's like the reason why I'm not like really in a jokey mood today is because it's so many people. Like I literally wanted to cry. And it's not because I'm pregnant. I really wanted to cry when I was listening to like, people's stories of all of the things that they have been scammed and money taken out their accounts and how they're suffering with their children or they can't pay bills. It's like I instantly just want to write a magic like a check and just give it to them, like everybody, because it's been a lot of them going on this weekend. I say if you're gonna do a pop-up shop, especially because it's summertime, they're out, the scammers are out, and they don't care. If you're gonna do a pop-up shop for the summer, because now everybody's doing them. It once was a thing where it was a certain amount of people that was hosting events and then a large crowd of people that wanted to participate. Now everybody wants to be a pop-up shop host. And I think that not everybody's truthful and honest about it. So I say that I think the first thing that you should do is look up the address, do research on it. When you put an address in the Google search bar, it'll tell you, like, what landmarks around, and you can see if it's a legit business, you can see if it's not, and if you're really superstitious and you don't trust it, you can always call that event space and ask them, like, "Hey, is there gonna be a pop-up shop this weekend?" Just to make sure a drive by. People would tell me all the time, before I sign up, I'm gonna come to your next event just so I can see what the turnout is, or I can see what the event is gonna look like. That's more than fine. We're in a public place. You can come out and do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it wouldn't be so many scams if we just take our time to look at them. When I go through Facebook groups and people say, "Oh, I have an event going on this Saturday." I see interested, interested. Everybody just interested, interested. How do I pay? What do I You're not and the scammer like, "Yep, I got them." You have to read the flyer, see how many times they posting it on their timeline, see how many other people, have been to their event. Do they have repeat vendors? Is that their first time? How long have they been doing it? These are questions you have to ask before you just dive in and jump into something. So, I think that's just some of the things we need to go over. And then when it comes to the children, I just can't do it to, scam a child out of money. Let's make sure that during the summer is pop-up shop season. Let's make sure that, especially because it's tax season. Like everybody done got their taxes in the last 2 weeks. There's no reason why scamming should still be at an all-time high. It's almost like crime is at a all-time high, but it's like scamming is above. There being so many murders and burglaries in the city. It's like above that. It's above that. And we're not thinking, these people, they have no conscience. They don't care about you, what you got going on, none of that stuff. I wouldn't even pay for a pop-up shop that's over $65, to be honest with you. Because then it's like, what am I paying for? Why am I going to this event that costs this much money? What am I getting back from me? Am I gonna make money? Is it gonna work for me? So I would say that's just something to think about. Also another thing to think about is as host, let's try to have a little bit more patience with people calling to ask questions about events. I get calls all day long because some people they're on different time zones than what we on. And they're willing to travel to your event if they feel like that talking to you on the phone that they believe in you and they can trust what your brand is about. Instance, one lady called me this morning and she was like, "You're the first person. I've been calling pop-up shops events nonstop, and you're the first person that actually took time to talk to me, to answer questions, so I want to do your event all the time. People they rush me off the phone, they hate when I ask about traffic. I think it takes remember that these people are customers. Without them signing up to do your event, it wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have an event without these people. So just take a second to just listen to them. Take a second to hear what they have to say, or what questions they have, because with it being so many scammers out here, people just want to make sure that they are getting themselves or they're trusting their money with someone who's going to, give them the time of day. So I don't know. I thought that was just something I wanted to share. Also, we're gonna go back to popping topic. Um, is it a bad idea to go live on social media in your workflow? Just to close it out, I completely think it's a bad idea. Just like I think it's a bad idea to just give your address to anybody. Let me tell you something. I have my eyelash business is a home-based business, and I do shipping from out of my home. I don't even use my real address. Like, I use my address, but I use, like, a pill box, is what I mean, because I don't want people if I'm shipping to someone that's in Atlanta, what if they get mad because they don't like the way I handle the situation, and then they come to my house? Right? So I think about stuff like that because then now my home is at risk of people thinking I have cash there, for people to think I have checks there. My kids are in the house sleep and someone kick our door in looking for something that's not there. So I always use a pill box address. Think of these are things that as business owners, when you want to start a business, you think about. You wanna make sure that you put yourself in danger. It's like someone that sell drugs, like, they shouldn't be using a home to sell drugs out of, not a place where you lay your head at. That's just stupid. So, it would be the same way if you were a small business that was giving out your home address on every shipping label that goes out. Every shipping label that goes out has your home address on it. So, I think that's an alternate route, um, to that situation. Um, that is all the time I have today. That's all the time I have today. So, make sure that y'all subscribe to my channel. Um, the Build a Brand with Kristen on YouTube, as well as download and follow Hit to 92.3 ATL. We will be back next week. What is that?